The first time I was trying to join the Army, I actually turned them down. What's up, friends? Welcome to an all-new video. In this one, it's more of a story time kind of a thing, more of a personal aspect rather than me teaching you something. So if you're interested in about how when I first tried to join the Army, I turned them down, well, that's kind of what I'm talking about in this video, is giving you a little bit of details in the story as to what happened and why I turned the Army down. Now, before I dive into this story, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on so you can join that notification platoon, get notified as soon as new videos are live, including live streams. So let's talk about why I told the United States Army no. So some of you may have heard a little bit of this story as far as what my original goals were to go into the Army. Originally, I wanted to go in the Army temporarily to be a mechanic, get out and go to college and hopefully work my way up to being a NASCAR mechanic is what I originally wanted to do. Now, also along with that, when I took the ASVAB, I was a senior in high school. They came to our high school. They said if anybody was interested in taking the ASVAB to possibly join the military, then you got out of class. So I was kind of thinking about joining the military, but I wasn't really too sure at that point. So I wanted to get out of class though, and I was like, you know what, I'll go take this ASVAB test and get out of class and, you know, see what happens. So doing that ASVAB test, like I said, I wasn't super motivated about wanting to join the military at that time. So, on subjects I was confident in and I knew stuff, knew the answers to, I would, put down the answers. But if it was something that took a lot of work to try to figure out the answers, such as like math or certain other questions, then I would sometimes just guess, just to kind of move on with that question and move on to something else. That did not result in the greatest score. It didn't result in really a poor one either, but not really a great one. Maybe somewhere around the average, maybe a little bit below average on the scoring. So I didn't really care. After the results came in, I really didn't care at that time. It wasn't until later when it kind of did play a factor when I did actually want to join the Army. This all still kind of happened while I was actually still in high school. I was going through the process. That way I could hopefully get some kind of ship out date for basic training sometime in the summer after I've graduated from high school, and then start my Army career, do 4 years and get out and then, go to college or something. So I went to MEPs. I went through the whole process, did everything at MEPs, and then it came time at the end to sit down with an individual. They go over your ASVAB and all of the results from MEPs and see what MLSs are available based on just available slots, as well as based on your scores and your results from MEPs. While going through that, I found out that I had a partial color blindness. I think it's like red-green color blind or something like that. It's not like I see in black and white, but there is a color blindness that affects me in some small ways that disqualified me from certain MLSs, and also my mediocre ASVAB score also didn't open up a whole lot of doors for me either. So this did disqualify me for a mechanic. I wanted to be a mechanic in the Army, and that MLS was not available for me. So I was a little upset. I wasn't really that interested in joining the Army now because the whole idea of what I wanted to do wasn't available. So I was like, okay, well, what is available then? Some of you know I was an 88 Mike in the Army, and you might be thinking, well, 88 Mike must have been one of the options and you took that. That's not what happened. So actually, at that time, based on my score and availability for MLSs, they only had 2 MLSs that they offered me for an option. Those 2 MLSs, I don't know what the MLS code is, like probably now or compared to back then or whatever, but the role was a person that repairs parachutes and tents and everything, as a seamstress essentially in the Army, and the other MLS was a bath and laundry specialist. Neither of those 2 MLSs, interest me. I'm, no offense to anybody out there that may be currently in those MLSs, but that wasn't something that interested me. I didn't want to just take any old job and just go with it, and I wanted to be a mechanic. So I was like sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, I don't want to repair tents. I don't want to be, I was thinking bath and laundry specialist, like I'm washing people's clothes. That's not really what they do. It's more of setting up portable laundry stations and setting up showers and stuff like that in the field or in a combat environment so that soldiers can utilize these field showers or laundry services. It's not you actually like washing their clothes for them. You're just setting up the facilities so that soldiers can essentially utilize those. But I wasn't interested in them. I was like, I don't think I'm interested in any of these. So they were like, well, here, we're gonna put you on the phone with someone and let them talk to you. So they put me on the phone with someone that supposedly was a bath and laundry specialist. Now, Later in my Army career, I kind of learned that most likely that wasn't even someone in that MOS. It was most likely just some recruiter that they called up and were like, hey, act like you were a bath and laundry specialist and it's a super awesome job, and talk this person into it. So that's most likely probably who I was talking to. But this person was telling me all about how great it is and how they got so much time for like going to college. So even if I don't get the MOS that I wanted, I could still, be doing some college courses on the side to get, into that field that I want to go into after the Army and everything. And it's a great job to be in, and all this craziness that supposedly was coming from a bath and laundry specialist that was currently in the military, but most likely was really just some recruiter that they called up. So just to kind of get them off my back, because they were persistent in trying to talk me into being this dang bath and laundry specialist, I was like, let me just think about it. Let me go home, let me think about it and figure out what I want to do, and then possibly come back and do the whole contract. I just wanted to think about it, but really I just wanted to get them off my back. I wasn't interested in that. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. And that was finally enough for them to just get me out of there and get me back to the house. So I got home, I was telling my friends, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm joining the Army. They don't have what I want to do. I'm just not going to join. Maybe I'll just try to figure out some other way to college, or maybe figure out another way to try again and try to get the MOS that I wanted. I thought about it maybe for, I don't know, it seemed like a week. It might have been less, I don't remember. And the more and more I started thinking about it, what the heck I was going to do when graduation time came up for high school, if I was going to go to college, or what I was going to do. I didn't have money for college. My parents weren't poor, but they weren't rich either, and they didn't have a whole lot of options to help me go to college. I really didn't know anything about like grants and how that stuff worked, so I really didn't know about that avenue. So I was just like, you know what, maybe I just have to suck it up. Just do whatever job that they're going to give me just to get that experience, get that education benefits to me, get out, have the military experience, and then get an education in what I really want to do. So I was just like, you know what, screw it. I guess I'm going to be a bath and laundry specialist. So I think, like I said, it was either a couple days, maybe a week or whatever. I called up my recruiter and was like, okay, I'm ready to do it. Let's just go ahead and do this. Let's do this bath and laundry specialist thing, and we'll go back to MEPs. So he made arrangements to come pick me up a few days later or something like that, and we went back to the Los Angeles MEPs, because I'm originally from California, and that was my local MEPs for that area was Los Angeles. So we had to go back down to Los Angeles, which was like a 4 or 5 hour drive. So I'm sure my recruiter wasn't super excited about that, but I think he had other things he could do down there as well with new recruits and everything. So we went back down to Los Angeles so I could go back and talk to the people at MEPs about just going ahead and sucking up and joining as a bath and laundry specialist. So we went in there, and I was like, hey, I'm back. Let's just go ahead and do this bath and laundry specialist thing. So they're all right. So they punched into the computer, brought everything up, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's not available anymore. So most likely maybe the slots were full, whatever the case was. So I was like, oh, okay, great. Then what is available and what are my options? And they're like, let's work on it. So they sent me back out to the lobby. I went out to the lobby. I sat out in the lobby for, I don't know, I think it was maybe like a half hour or something like that. My recruiter came back out of the offices area into the lobby and was like, all right, they got you 88 mic. I was like, okay, what's an 88 mic? And he explained it's a truck driver. You just do transportation, you move stuff around and everything like that. And like I said, at that point I was gonna take bath and laundry specialist. This sounded to me better than bath and laundry specialist. Like, okay, yeah, let's do that, let's take it. So I just kind of took whatever they kind of had available to me, because my idea at that time was to just take it, get the education benefits, and then get an education in automotive like I wanted to after I got out, and work towards my goals. Probably maybe like, I don't know, it was probably a year into being in the Army, I was already losing interest in wanting to even be an auto mechanic. So that was already kind of going out the window anyways, and things were kind of flowing a little bit differently to try to figure out what the heck I wanted to do. But essentially I, said no the first time I went to MEPs, and then later ended up just settling with 88 mic that ended up being a thing where I settled for it for over 10 years. Now, that is not something I really recommend individuals do. You shouldn't have to settle. You should hopefully, find a job that you'll enjoy. It makes the experience much better. I wouldn't necessarily say that I hated my experience in the Army, but definitely had I maybe tried harder at the ASVAB or other things to try to get into MOS that I would have enjoyed, maybe my experience would have been more enjoyable. Like I said, it wasn't necessarily bad either, but maybe I would have had more fun being in the Army. Maybe I would have stayed in longer. I don't know. That could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Who knows? I mean, I'm happy with the way things turned out now, but for those of you out there that may be thinking about joining the military, I might not recommend, just settling for something just to get into the Army. Maybe hopefully try to find something that you don't mind doing or you would love to doing. Is obviously the ideal thing, is to find something you love to do. and then it'll make it a lot more enjoyable. But you know, definitely don't just settle something that you think you might be miserable and just be like, oh, I'm just going to do a couple years anyways. That could obviously change throughout your course in the military. Things happen, things change to where you're kind of stuck in these situations where maybe you're like, well, re-enlisting is really pretty much the best option for me right now. Getting out is a bad idea right now. So I have to re-enlist and just suck it up and just keep doing this job. So it's better just suck it up, you know, with maybe something you're enjoying a little bit more, maybe, hopefully. All right, I guess that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, I suppose. So check out some of these recommendations right over here. If you enjoyed that video, hit the thumbs up. Links are down in the description for social media, P.O. Box, everything else that you could possibly even need. Thanks so much for watching. I'm ThatChrisChaos. See you guys next time. See ya.